and 3,000 transactions we're on track for that, which is pretty damn cool. In quarter one, which is typically our worst quarter of the year. Insane. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that. We have Tiffany. Did we bring Tiffany on?
We did. Hey guys.
Hi, Tiffany.
So if you don't know, I'm Tiffany. I'm over at Paramount Title and I'm your marketing director over here. So if you guys need anything, I'm your girl to contact. But I did want to talk about phones real quick. So we get a lot of volume in our office and we have one receptionist. And sometimes, you guys can't get through. I want you to use my phone number. It's on my card. It's my direct cell. So if you guys can't get through on our Paramount Title and you guys have a question or you have a closing and it's something important and you really need to talk to someone, feel free to call me. I can jump into any of your files and chances are I can get you the answer that you need right away. So I know there's some times where, even after hours, you're going to need an answer to something. That's what I'm here for. I want you to utilize my phone number. Like I said, it's on my card. If you guys need it, Craig or Angela can send it out to you guys and get it to you. I just want you to be aware that there is someone here for you guys now, and you don't have to worry if you can't get through on our line, okay?
It was funny because I talk with, excuse me, Amy and Sean every 2 weeks at least. And I went through, I just closed 2 houses with you guys. And I said, who the hell uses an office phone anymore? You said after hours. I just had a thought to myself, there's no such thing as after hours anymore. There really isn't. I talked to our staff, Jessica Decker and I were talking. She says, I'll work at 10 o'clock at night if I can't sleep. Or if I get up early, I go in at 5. But I can also take off in the afternoon and do what I want to do. Crazy paradigms, which are changing the face of the real estate market, guys. We're in uncharted territory. I just ran into Andy Schmidt, who's a longtime home builder that I've worked with since the beginning of my career. And he's like, Craig, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I can't price a house. I've never been in a situation like this. And they're going crazy. What do we do? I'm going to go to cost plus financing. I said, but the cost plus financing doesn't work because you can't lock a buyer in for a max price. He says, I've never seen lumber triple in prices like this. And whatever we touch sells. It's totally abnormal. Not real. Okay, so we're missing quite a few people this morning, but Mr. Puma, yesterday we had a manager meeting, which just so you guys know, we have manager meetings every week. And we talk about the status of everything. And things are really, really good right now. But the point we want to make today specifically is you guys are rocking it. I'm serious. When you think about 14 offers coming in on one house and you winning that bid, you did something right. And I'm hearing many, many, many stories. I mean, it's almost like arrogance. I talked to one of our agents the other day. He's got 9 pending contracts. I said, that's friggin' awesome. I said, how many offers did you have to write to get 9 to stick? He goes, no, mine get accepted most of the time. And I thought to myself, what a great belief system. Mine get accepted most of the time. Why? What are you doing? So I asked the managers to collaborate today and say, give us some successes that you've heard that agents have done, just to give the rest of us tips on what we could do to make sure our offers win. Because it sucks to be number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or not be number 1 when your offer gets accepted. So Joe Dino, let's start with you.
Good morning. Craig, when you and I did contract class, we talked about the fact that the price is just not the only thing that you're considering. One, talking with that listing agent of finding out what's important to the to the seller. But the other thing is, we're so used to having the seller pay title, you can have the buyer pay title. There's a lot of ways to finesse that offer. And I had one, personally, not too long ago, where we paid the closing costs for we did the title work. That way we can control where the title work goes, right? The buyer can deduct that off his income taxes, and we don't necessarily raise the price for an appraisal issue.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the one thing that we've been chatting about in the office.
Uma, what do you got?
Yeah, so one thing I just want to point out, kind of on the back of what Joe just said, I was talking with one of our B3 agents not too long ago, and Jared Dunn, I've talked about him before, but he just continuously is getting deals done, especially on the buy side. And it's kind of amazing, actually. If you follow him on social, you'll see, the guy is just putting in offer after offer and getting accepted. And one of the things that he said he's doing is he's asking questions. When he's meeting with that other agent, he's asking a lot of questions to get to the bottom of what do they actually want, right? Yes, of course they want the price and they want a good offer, but what's really going on, right? What's going on below the surface? Why are they selling? Everything, right? He's actually representing his clients. And when he does that, he's able to find that hot button. And then he makes sure that when he submits that offer, he's pressing that hot button as hard as he can. And it's continuously working. If you follow him, you see there are very few times in the last few weeks that he has not gotten the house for his client. And in this market, it's super impressive. So just make sure you're asking the right questions and you're finding out what that hot button is and then trying to push it as hard as you can.
I'm going to go one step further than that, Mike, because you know how social I am. But if you're going to make a win like that happen, why not talk about it? To Chris's point, don't go on social and say, I got my listing sold in 14 seconds, because that makes you look like a moron who didn't work hard. When you talk about the strategy you use to get your offer accepted and beat out 15 others, that brings value. So I think if you're going to do that.
That's the other thing Jared does extremely well, right? He's always telling those stories and he's storytelling, right? He's not just going out and saying, hey, and I got another sale, or, hey, I sold this house in a day. He's actually telling the story behind it. And saying that you sold a house in 15 minutes is okay, but you got to give context to it. You got to tell the story behind it, right? How were you able to sell the house in 15 seconds? Because the how is way more important than what. Right. And so if you can actually explain how you were able to do it, now you're getting people to buy into the fact that you are the expert, which is exactly what we're trying to position ourselves as.
Good point.
Yes, he does a fantastic job of that, but that is super important.
Deborah Haley, what say ye?
What I see happening often now, and that we're talking a lot about in this office, is partnering with the buyer's lender prior to making the offer. You need to know everything about this buyer to be able to make a great offer. And you need to know their maximum amount of what they can really afford and what they're making an offer on and how much they can go up to. So maybe we can take off that appraisal contingency and make your buyer so much stronger. Because even with financing does get approved and the sellers will take it if it's a strong enough offer. And dropping the financing contingencies for appraisals is a big deal. That will break a lot of cash boundaries out there. But you got to be in partnership with that lender and talk to them prior to making the offer with your buyer. Get in unison with each other and have a strategy. So when you're ready to make that offer, they find the perfect house. You're ready to go and you can make it quickly. So that's what we've been talking a lot about lately.
I think that's very, very solid. Guys, these are the things. The management team is hearing what's winning in the marketplace, and we're just sharing with you what's winning. Kathleen?
Just to piggyback on to what Deborah just said, being strong with the lender is really, really important. Communicating up front even before you take your buyer out to show those properties, once that it's been approved, once you know what your buyer's capable of buying and how far they can go, do your research on the property up front. Pick those top three. so that when that buyer shows up to put in that offer right away, they're going to fall in love with that house right away with confidence. Research is so important. I emphasize that a lot over here. Well, another thing that we like to do is a lot of communication with that listing agent. Mike has touched on that. Joe has touched on that. Deborah's touched on that too. Very important to find out not only what it is about the seller that's motivating them to sell, but where do they need to go? How much time do they need? Find out if they have any pets. I know that sounds ridiculous, but we had a story over here where the seller is a bird lover and the buyer was a bird lover. And guess what they did? Love letters. Love letters do work. I know it sounds old school, but it works. And we were able to win out on a deal, not because we were necessarily the strongest one, because we were strong, but resonating with that seller, connecting with that seller's agent, if you will. So it's all about communication, being well prepared, and making sure you're on the same base with that lender. And you know, going into this, how far you can go with it.
Yep. Solid advice. Otis, what are you hearing in the streets?
I'm seeing a combination of getting to know the buyer, and then in the situation on the offer, tailor making an offer that's slightly different than the others, but also calling the listing agent on the other side and finding out, doing some information gathering, piggybacking on Kathleen, on what makes the seller tick, or as much information as you can get from that listing agent. And that way you can tailor make that offer to fit what the seller's looking for. And then also have the compensating factors that really make it easy to choose your offer, such as either the escalation clause or the appraisal contingency being waived, or having like an allowance within that appraisal, where if it comes in like 10,000 shy or 15,000 shy, you'll still take the house. Those things lock down the confidence of the seller. And I'm seeing it used in a variety of ways, but they're using the tools that we have out loop that we talk about all the time. And each story seems to be slightly different. But what they're doing is they're really paying attention to what is making the seller tick and then trying to hit those buttons. But also preparing the buyer to compete on their offer.
Okay, I like it a lot. I think what we're really trying to do is eliminate doubt, right? If you just summed it up, I want to eliminate any doubt that this is not going to happen. And I'm going to let Chris go first, and then I'll wrap it up with one. So Chris, I mean, it's hard to follow all that great advice, but I'm sure you got something up your sleeve. And then I got one more that I bet a lot of we haven't talked about in a long time. So what's up, Mr. Reed?
How's my sound? I have a new mic. I just want to make sure that
it's good. It's a little quiet.
Thank you. Is that a little better?
Yes.
All right. So Mike, I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to tell a story. So there once was an agent from Apollo Beach.
who will remain nameless.
Who will remain nameless. We have an agent in Apollo Beach, and we were discussing this weekend. She called and said, I've got a property that the buyer wants to see, and it's a buyer I've been working with for a while. So, I want to make sure that I do right by them and I'm able to get the home for them because they haven't seen a lot they liked. So first I said, well, first we need to talk to the buyer, prep the buyer, make sure they understand the market. She did. They understood the market. They understand what's happening. She told them everything that's going on, what's happening with buyers, what's happening with sellers, what's happening with listings, what's happening with loans, what's happening with interest rates. She discussed all of that with the buyer before even seeing the house to make sure that they were aware and prepared when they saw that house, if they fell in love with it, what they would have to do. They showed up to the house. This listing agent did the smart thing. She had showings on Saturday and Sunday. It was on the market Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but only opened up her showings Friday. She met the listing agent there after calling her already, called the listing agent and spoke to her, met the listing agent there, asked her all those questions that everybody's talked about. What's the seller's closing date? What's important to the seller? What do they want? What do they need? What are they looking at? The listing agent told her, well, you see the cracks and little tears and the seams in the drywall and the ceiling. They're going to repair that before closing. You feel the sliding glass door doesn't slide very well. They're going to repair that before closing. Things like that. Talked to her. They told her closing date and all that. She came back and said, my buyer loves the home, tells me this. Said, okay, how do we structure this offer? We look through the photos. We look at some comps. Looking through the photos, we noticed that the seller had a room set up for video. They had the little percussion board across the back of the room. They had lights, they had cameras, they had all this set up. So he said, wait a minute, this guy's a YouTuber. He does video he does something like that for a living. Your buyer needs to do a video. Tell them to shoot a video. This guy will really appreciate that. Then we went down and we started looking at the offer. What does your buyer want to do? They put an escalation clause in, $10,000 above. They said they would pay $5,000 more than the appraised value that was there. They said they would pay the title fees as well to help out with that cost. And they said that they will make all of those repairs. The seller doesn't have to do any of them, because the listing agent said they've been having a hard time getting a contractor out here, but they're really working hard to do it. They really just want to make sure. By the way, we know the price might be a little off. We're a little concerned with an appraisal. So just by having everything that everybody said, talking about all of that, it came into play, and she put every single one of those together. A nice 1.5 to 2-minute video, a love letter video, escalation clause, appraisal waiver, basically saying they'll pay $5,000 or more. Told them they'll do all the repairs, gave them exactly what they wanted. And they had a 3% down conventional loan competing with 10 other offers. Guess what? They won. They said, the listing agent told her, we had cash offers, we had offers putting more money down, but your offer stood out. You did everything that made them feel comfortable. And they said that they loved their video and it made them decide.
Awesome. Good story too. All right, guys, this is what's working out there. I'm going to give you one more thing now, because here's the dark side. Agents are putting multiple offers in to just get something, and then they're going to throw away the other offers to get the one they want. So raise your hand to the mighty power of the backup contract. This is your time. Let the frenzy die down. Let the seller think they sold their house with their as-is due diligence period. Slide in there with a backup full price offer with looking really good after massaging the listing agent to find out what makes the seller's offer perfect. Because you're going to see, I'm going to estimate 30 to 40% of contracts are going to cancel because they're putting in multiple offers, not because the house is bad. They're putting in multiple offers, they're winning multiple houses, they're canceling the ones that I don't want, and the seller's there. If you slide in with a backup contract, you're going to look brilliant. So go find your recently under contracts within 7 days or less and consider those active listings right now. I would say 30 to 40% of those will become active listings right now. So slide in there with a backup contract on a under contract in less than 7 days because they haven't finished their inspection period yet. Does that make sense? All right, that's some really good nuggets for you guys. Okay, we're going to bring to our guests now. Shelly is from a company called Knox, which had a sordid beginning, but has cleaned up and has really become a really fascinating tool. And I read about Knox in one of the articles I read, and then I found some research on them, and they partner with a friend of mine, Jim Fight, Century 21 Judge Fight in Dallas, Fort Worth metro area. And well, I didn't forget about you, Thomas. Your face isn't on the screen, so I'll bring you up. So let me do that. That's what you get for hiding.
Hey, you know, we got our award ceremony, so I'm trying to set it up this morning. But just real quick, I just piggyback on what everyone else said. VA buyers, they're out there, and sometimes a lot of people don't think that they have money. We had an agent that was working with a buyer that was looking at a $170,000 home, which is very slim pickings. This guy is 60 years old, has an 8-year-old child. He said 60, has an 8-year-old child, and he's been living in an apartment for all his life. And he finally went to look at a home, and he found a home, and there was one other offer, and the agent goes, well, do you have money down for escrow? And he's like, yes. He said, well, I'm gonna need about $3,000. Can you do $3,000? He says, yes. He said, well, can you do $3,000 after the inspection? He said, yes. She said, I'm gonna need some closing costs. Can you do the closing costs? He said, yes. So that's the moral of the story, is don't think that, you know, a sales price of 170, 180 that and go in BA that they don't have money. Ask for it, because they do have it. And she put an escalation clause in there for $2,500 above sales price. And guess what? She received an email the next morning with the offer accepted.
There you go. You guys have become good storytellers. I like it. Which is a perfect segue for Shelly, because we are talking about the biggest problem we have is trying to get listings. And the biggest problem, and I ran into 3 neighbors this morning, and they're like, I would sell my house right now if I had a place to go. I would sell my house right now if I had a place to go. because I would make so much money I'd have to pay taxes on it, on my homestead. That's how much money they're talking about making, but they got no place to go. So Shelley, tell us what Knox is all about and
Thank
how
you.
our certified broker program with you is going to benefit our team.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here this morning. And to everyone's point, this is an amazing tool to put in your toolkit to get your offers accepted. And to Craig's point, to help people who are afraid to list, they're afraid to become part of the market. This allows them to become part of the market sort of on their own timing. So I'm going to share my screen and do a quick presentation. We'll do some Q&A after. So if you have questions, feel free to pop those in the chat or the Q&A feature. So like Craig said, we are partnered together, Knox Home Swap Program plus Century 21 Spaggins Enterprises. Together, this is a better way to buy and sell. Knox is a lending partner, and I'm excited to tell you about the program this morning. I will tell you how to become certified and how this can benefit you as a competitive advantage to getting your offers accepted. So we know 60% or more of home buyers are buying and selling at the same time, but like we just talked about, sellers are afraid to list their house. They're afraid that perfect dream house won't come on right at the right time, and that seller then won't take a contingency to sell their house, right? So what if I told you that your clients could buy the new house without selling their old house first, and they get to maximize their equity in the listing, and they don't have to sacrifice buying power on the new house? The Knox Home Swap is the answer to that age-old problem of the chicken and the egg. So Knox is the only lender in the country that enables your clients to buy their new house first before listing and selling their old house for sale on the open market. Like I said, they don't sacrifice their equity in their current house, and they don't sacrifice buying power on the new house. They work with you on both sides of the transaction, so you get to maximize double-sided commission and have a competitive advantage over other agents. So this is a more convenient, more certain, and more cost-effective way to buy and sell. So let's talk about how the home swap works. There are two components to the home swap. The first is a conventional conforming mortgage. So that goes to $548,250 in your market this year. So your clients, you write the offer on the dream house for your clients, and you write it non-contingent on the listing selling. Your clients move into the new house right away, and they start building equity immediately in the new house. The second piece of this, I think, is the best part. This is the home swap advance. This is what makes it really special. So think about this like an equity advance that attaches to your client's listing, to the equity that they've built in their listing. From that equity, we advance up to 20% down on the new house. We pay up to 6 months of old mortgage payments on the old house, and up to $25,000. Anyway, you can use those home prep funds for cosmetics, so carpet, paint, tile, updated countertops, anything that you recommend as the agent that they need to do to sell the house at top dollar. So let's talk about how the home swap process works. We're going to teach you how to do this in training, but it's very simple. We'll give you access to our app, and from the app, you verify the client's listing, you verify their equity position, and then you send the application to your client directly from your app. And then our team underwrites your client. It's a complete pre-approval. So it's a fully underwritten human underwrite pre-approval. You take them out shopping for the new house. You beat out all of the other offers with all the other tools we talked about this morning, but also your offer is non-contingent on their listing selling, right? So you beat out the competition, get their dream house under contract. Your client moves in, right away they start building equity, and then you help them fix up and list their current house for sale. Once their current house sells, the home swap is complete. So let's talk about cost. That's the next logical question. So for your customer, it's a 1.25% convenience fee charged on the purchase price of the new house. Now that can be rolled in either to the rate or to the loan, but Knox has no origination fee. So if you think about an origination fee is typically 1% of the loan amount. So our convenience fee takes the place of what a traditional lender would charge as an origination fee. And then the best part is that equity advance, the home swap advance, is 0% interest, 0 origination for up to 6 months, which is absolutely unheard of. If any of you remember those old nasty bridge loans, they were very expensive, super hard to find, very hard to qualify for. We've modernized the bridge loan, and it's 0% interest for up to 6 months.
Wow.
Yes, amazing. Yeah, it used to be 15 to 20% and due in 90 days. So ours is 0% for up to 6 months.
Wow.
But let's look at what a real world scenario would look like. Like I said, Knox is the only lender in the country that is able to offer this to your clients. A big key piece of this is we're able to overlook the DTI on the listing. So your clients have the same buying power they would have if the listing had already sold, right? So you see these two columns, you got the Knox column and the average lender. That's your traditional transaction that you're doing now. So if we assumed a purchase price of $500,000 and an LTV of 95%, like I said, Knox has no origination fee, but we do have the 1.25% convenience fee. And our lender fee is a flat $14.50. This is the cost of processing the loan, which is less than the national average. And ours is a flat amount that's typically variable. So you see as these two columns break out, right, that it's a little more expensive to do the Knox home swap. But let's talk about what they get for a little bit of extra, right? So they get to actually win the bid, even though they have a listing to sell. So that's huge. It's a big advantage for your clients. But also they get to keep living life in their current house until they've got a dream house under contract and they've moved into the new house. So they get to avoid all of the stress of trying to find a house with a listing for sale, occupied showings, COVID cleanings, hustling out kids and pets for showings. We know all of those things are so inconvenient, and they get to skip all of that stress for a little bit of extra with the Knox home swap.
Hey, Shelley, what's the max home price? Is it 548 the conventional loan limit, or is that the purchase price amount?
Yeah, so right now the maximum loan amount is $548,250 for your market. But if you think about, you can add your clients 20% to that. If your clients have anything extra to add, they're welcome to do that. And we are working on getting jumbo loans. We are hoping to have those in the next 30 to 60 days. So I hear that's coming pretty quickly. So we'll let you know as soon as we can add jumbo. But at the moment, the maximum loan amount is $548,250, which is the conventional conforming loan limit. I think that's important to note right here, that this is not a strange non-QM product that you're trying to pitch to your clients, right? This is a conventional conforming loan. It's a Freddie Fannie mortgage, right? So we have just modernized the bridge loan to enable your clients to move first. So, okay, let's talk about what's in it for you then as an agent. So like I said, you get to write your offers non-contingent on the listing selling, which is absolutely huge. And you avoid the timeline stress. I also want to point out, this is great for new construction. We talked about new construction in the beginning. So let's say you have a client doing new construction. We know they won't take a contingency. So here's your solution for that. But then also, if your clients are given a 6-month build time, right, and lumber goes up, it takes longer to build. Maybe it's really 9 months before the house is complete. Your clients keep living life in their current house until their new house is built. Then they move into their new house, they close on their new house before they ever have to list their current house for sale. And their 6 months starts when they close on the new house. So there's no stress. And when is my house going to be complete? When do I get to move in? When do I have to try to time the market and get that listing on the market and maybe do a short-term rental or something until my house is done? Skip all of that stress with the home swap. And then also this helps get your clients that are on the fence, off the fence, and out shopping. There is no excuse with the home swap to, I'm just going to stay in my house. I'm afraid to be part of the market. I'm afraid to list. I'm afraid I won't find anything. With the home swap, they keep living in their current house until they find something. So if it takes 2 weeks or it takes 2 months or it takes longer, they get to keep living life like they always have in their current house until they find the new house.
That's really a thoughtful program.
It is, yes. Yeah, like you said, I mean, we have a past. We've tried many iterations of this. And what we realized is that the best way to bring this to market is to partner with the agents. So we want to be a partner and empower you to take this to your clients. So this is a market advantage also and a marketing advantage. I'll tell you about the marketing in just a second, but I wanted to point out this is more double-sided transactions for you because we require your clients to work with you on both the buy side and the list side. So they have to work with a Knox certified agent on both sides of the transaction, which is huge, guarantees you more double-sided transactions. And then this is no cost to your commission. So it is free to your commission. I usually have to say that twice. You keep your commission. We make money as a lender. right? So this costs nothing to offer to your clients, nothing to become certified, and the co-branded marketing material that we provide is also free to your commission. Okay. Now, once you have become a Knox certified agent and you have completed your first home swap transaction, you are eligible to receive leads from us. So those leads come to us through our direct-to-consumer advertising and our Realtor.com partnership. So those leads come into Knox, but remember, we're only a lender, so we can't actually service those clients, right? We need to pair them with a Knox certified agent. So we get them completely pre-approved for the home swap, so they're ready to buy, ready to list before we hand them off to you. Now, this is a warm handoff, so this is not where we're shopping someone among 5 different agents, and so that client has been called by 5 people before you get them. This is a one-to-one warm handoff, so it's a really great lead. They're already pre-approved, ready to buy, ready to list when they come to you. All right, but I don't want you to just take my word for it. I have a quick testimonial video to play for you. So these are some of our Knox certified agents from across the country. We are officially in 25 markets at this point, and you can home swap market to market, by the way, which is also a great advantage for this. So I'm going to play this video, let them tell you a little bit about how the home swap worked for them and for their clients, and I'll be right back.
It's such a huge advantage that you have a week to move into your new home, because traditionally you'd have to be out the day that we closed.
To me, this was just completely thinking outside the box, especially because of the market that we're in and helping me be able to get more of my clients under contract.
But I think it's just a great program. It took away a lot of the what ifs, and we were able to find the house that they wanted.
This program kind of flips it around so they can shop for the house they really want right now. And then once they get the house they really want, we put the other house on the market.
You have an entire team behind you. It's just a whole package.
Having Knox ability to come in and give the home prep funds, that has just relieved the stress for them.
My clients trying to purchase a new home without the Knox swap, it would not have occurred.
I promise you, you're going to rave about this program once we're all done. And I have this amazing company that's going to stand behind us, setting expectations and snapping them into reality.
We can still traditionally sell a house like we do normally. This is just another tool that we can offer them.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk about how you become a Knox certified agent. So while we're on this call, I'm going to send out an email invitation to invite you to register for training. Now, our training is a 1-hour Zoom webinar style training, so very similar to this. So you go to the training. After the training, we send you a quiz to pass. By the way, we give you the answers to the quiz in the training. So just be sure you're paying attention. Feel free to write those down. It's super easy. We just want to be sure that you know how to present the home swap to your clients, how to use the marketing materials as well. So once you attend training and you pass the quiz, you're officially a Knox certified agent. You have access to co-branded marketing collateral. That includes social media content, postcards, door hangers, flyers, brochures. All of that stuff is available to you for free to offer to your clients. I will tell you that the social media content is fantastic, and there are 7 or 8 different pieces in there already, and we rotate those pieces out every so often to keep it fresh. I have agents in Phoenix, for example. I've got one in particular who started offering the co-branded social collateral last quarter. This quarter, he's closing 3 new home swap transactions, but remember, they're double-sided transactions, so it's a total of 6 transactions he would not have had if he didn't have the Knox home swap. All right? So with that, I will stop sharing my screen and we'll see if you have any questions, and I will send out those email invitations.
We have a couple questions. How are Knox mortgage rates compared to the average market rates?
Yeah, so we're very competitive. We do not mark these up for the home swap program, okay? So the 1.25% convenience fee is the only thing that's an addition to. There is no additional amount on the rate than to do the Knox home swap. So they're very competitive. We audit those daily.
Standard qualification requirements, mortgage credit scores?
Yes, everything, the same standard qualifications for a Freddie, Fannie mortgage. So a 620 credit score, for instance, income requirements, all that good stuff.
Any special bankruptcy histories or anything to work around?
No, there isn't anything in particular. This is a standard Freddie, Fannie mortgage. So I think that's the great thing as an agent. It's really hard to talk to clients about something that's not sort of a standard product because you don't know how it's going to turn out for them, right? But this is a standard product. We've just modernized the bridge loan and we overlook the debt on the old house. So your clients have the same buying power on the new house.
I think that's really the best way to explain it. You just redid the bridge loan.
Yes, absolutely.
Are there any market constraints, like you won't buy in HOA communities or waterfront, or is Sarasota included anywhere in the state, or what are our restrictions house-wise?
Okay. That's a great question. So I'll start with, we use our proprietary algorithms. We're a tech-enabled company, and our algorithm is the most accurate on the market. So when you go to training, we will teach you how to use, it's super simple. You just plug in the address, and then our algorithm does the rest. And so what we're looking at is how quickly is a house going to sell? What are the comps around it? You know, we want to be sure clients will sell before that 6-month time period is up. So something that may be a disqualifier is it's been on the market for a long time already, right? If it hasn't sold already, we know that's a problem. If there aren't enough comps in the neighborhood or the days on market are running super high, that's very unlikely. I think the last I checked in your market, we were running at about 90% approval rate. So it's pretty rare to run into one that we won't underwrite, but we'll give you the reason if it happens to be one that we can't. Okay. And all of that's housed within the app, which is really easy to use.
Somebody wrote in, many sellers would use their equity to be the down payment on the new home. But the problem is they got to pull that equity out, which means they got to refinance their mortgage, which means they're going to pay a lot more than 1.25%.
Exactly. And then you've got the DTI issue, right? So they qualify for less when they want to buy the new house, which was the problem with an old bridge loan, right? So I've been a realtor for 11 years. Old bridge loans, number one, are gone. They're impossible to find. But even if you could find them, they're typically 15 to 20% interest and due in 90 days, right? So we've modernized that. We overlook the debt on the old house, so they have the same buying power. And then we advance the down payment. We pay the old mortgage payment. We pay the home prep, so they don't have a DTI issue.
What about the qualifications with the bridge loan? So they have to qualify for the new mortgage, but what about the loan that's in place for the advance? Do they have to qualify for the payment on that as well?
So there is no payment, no origination, 0% interest for up to 6 months. It is part of the qualification with the conventional mortgage that they qualify for the bridge loan as well. The biggest component of that is that they have enough equity to do the bridge loan. So ideal is 30% or more gross equity, and there's a calculator in the app to help you figure that out. So obviously they have to have equity to do the equity advance. But that's the biggest qualification piece for the bridge loan, is that they have enough equity to qualify.
So it's basically a zero down equity advance.
Correct. Yes.
With no interest. For 6, that's crazy.
It is crazy. I agree.
Like after the 6 months, if it doesn't sell, what are the payments like after the 6 months? And don't they still have to qualify? Because that still shows up as a loan. With, even though it's 0% for 6 months, there's still the payment after the 6 months. So don't they have to qualify just in case with that payment after the 6 months? And what are they like?
They do. Yeah. So it's actually a balloon. So it becomes due after that 6 month time period. So they would owe the entire amount then, right? Now, we haven't had this happen, but I'm going to give you a few scenarios that we teach in training. So this hasn't happened, but it's real estate, so it probably will. If we get to that 6 month mark for somebody's house, and let's say their contract falls out, they have to go back on the market and get another contract. Maybe we're able to extend the bridge loan at that point, and it would be up to whatever the market rate is at the time for the interest rate and the payments. And then another option is that the mechanism that's allowing us to overlook the debt on the old house is that Knox puts in an optional second position backup offer on your client's listing when they go under contract for the new house, right? That's what allows Freddie and Fannie to overlook the debt on the old house, is that there's a bona fide backup offer on the listing, right? So we haven't had anyone take it. We do not want anyone to take it. It's a bona fide offer, but we haven't had to buy one yet. So hopefully your clients you won't have any clients that end up in that position, but there is that optional backup offer if they got to the 6 month mark, which would be very rare in this market, and they needed us to buy it out, we could do that. Great question.
High stakes poker.
Well, we're investor backed.
That's right. It's very cool.
Yep.
Do condos qualify?
Condos do qualify. Condos, townhomes, single family. Yes.
How many homes have you, or how many loans are you doing? What kind of volume are you guys doing with this program?
Yeah, so we are actually, I'm not able to disclose that right now. We've got some other things happening that keep me from disclosing that at the moment, but we're in the hundreds. So we're good there. We've got plenty of experience. Knox has been around for about 6 years. Our founders helped found Trulia. When Trulia sold to Zillow, they started Knox. And so we've been through a couple of different iterations, as Craig mentioned. So we have done this as a brokerage service. And what we realized is if we would partner with the industry rather than working in competition with the industry, that we could bring this to more people through their favorite agent. So that's why we've got the lending program now. We have no brokerage service. We're just a lending partner and partnering with the agency. Yep.
This is a weird question, but I'm going to read it anyway. It says, if the client plans to pay cash for their new home once the current home sells and has a substantial amount of equity, how is the requirement for the debt to income ratio calculated?
Okay, so the DTI and all of the qualification pieces are the same. So they have to qualify for the conventional mortgage like anyone else would have to, right? So even if the house is paid for, the qualifications remain the same. However, we have this come up a lot, right? Where someone has 100% equity, but they're stuck in their old house because they never quite have the money, they can't get the money out in order to make the transition happen. So with the home swap, we'll advance up to 20% down on the new house, and then we can still do the home prep if we need to. But we'll only advance up to 20%. They get the mortgage, move into the new house, and then when the listing sells, they just pay it off. So there's no prepayment penalty, or let's say, for instance, they have enough to pay down 80% of the new loan. They can do that through a recast. So they don't have to go through a whole refi.
Oh,
yeah.
Recasting is cool. So how much money would the client need up front that they would usually have from the sale of their current home? Would the client need only escrow payment and closing cost appraisals? Well, they're going to lend them up to 20%.
Exactly. Yes. So they still need to have, their appraisal. They still need to have their inspection. They need to be able to pay their closing costs, right? But we're advancing their down payment for them. Yep. Great question.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to send these email invitations out. They just went out. So you should have those in your inbox. From that email invitation, it comes from homeswap@knox.com. You click there, register for the training that fits your schedule best. Those are held 5 days a week. So just pick the day and time that works best for you. But don't wait. I want to caution you not to wait, because this happens every time we launch in a market, right? If somebody says, oh, well, I'll wait until I have a client to go to the training class. It's not a great strategy, right? Because then your clients are waiting on you to become certified in order to go be part of the program. And most of the time they're ready to buy a house. So don't wait to sign up for the training. It only takes an hour. Unlike CE, this makes you money right away, right? And you've got marketing material. You can advertise this to your clients right away. So go ahead and sign up and get certified.
Sign up and get certified. Kim says, how quickly can the client start looking for a new home? Well, they need to qualify first.
Yes. Yeah, I would say that's best practice. Make sure that they're qualified first for the home swap before you take them out shopping. But that's best practice in real estate anyway, right? Don't crank the car until they are pre-approved.
Ken says, are you seeing many buying in one state and selling in another?
We see that all the time, and I love it. This is great for reload clients. So let's say, for instance, you have somebody moving to Dallas. We're going to keep them within the same brand. So we'll keep them with Judge Fight then, right, Craig? So we'll recommend you so you have a client in Tampa moving then to Texas. And so we'll connect you with a Knox certified agent on the other side. You work out your commission with the agent on the other side. We don't get involved in that, but we'll be sure to connect you with a Knox certified agent in the next market. You asked a question earlier that I think I skipped, Craig, about which markets we're in. So in Florida, we actually go all the way south through Sarasota to Inglewood in your market, right? We're in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach. We are in Orlando and Jacksonville. We are actually in 25 markets. Like I said, I used to be able to rattle them all off, but now we're in 25 markets. So if you go to the website, super simple, knock.com, like you're knocking on a door, right? And you can find the cities tabs. You can see all of the markets that we're in.
Okay. How do we get a pre-approval letter to submit with the offer?
Our lending team will do that for you once your client is completely pre-approved. And we're really great at keeping the agent looped in through the whole process. So we'll communicate with you. You can actually see everything on your app, which I think is really great too.
Just for fun, where are you guys located?
So we are a fully remote company. We have been from the beginning. So our primary location is Atlanta and then Dallas as well. But we are in 21 states at this point in terms of employees. So when they started Knox, our founders realized one wanted to live in New York, one wanted to live in San Francisco, nobody wanted to move. So from the inception, we have said, let's just be a fully remote company. So before it was cool, we were on Zoom all day.
There you go. Yeah. How many loan officers do you guys have?
Oh, I don't even know at this point, honestly. I would say 50-ish, maybe. I'm not sure exactly.
And what are your targets for Tampa Bay? Do you want to sell? I mean, you want to do 100 mortgages, 500 mortgages? What's your target?
As many as we can. For every conventional buyer, what we would love to do is do a home swap for every conventional buyer, right? This is the perfect solution for any conventional clients. Now, we mentioned earlier VA, for example. This doesn't work with VA, right? And it doesn't work with FHA. This only works for conventional buyers at the moment. But I want you to think about this for all of your conventional buyers.
That's 20% down conventional only, or can we do 10% down conventional?
As low as 5%.
As low as 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, guys. So
this is incredible, Craig.
Yeah. So my thing is awareness gives you flexibility, and flexibility gives you options, and options give you power. Yeah. So what our goal as a company is to make you aware of opportunities. So when Puma heard about this, he investigated and set up us to become one of their certified partners. So you guys now have more knowledge than anybody else. The question is, what are you going to do with it?
That's right. The competitive advantage. So take advantage of it.
So I'm going to check my mail real quick and see if I got a message from you, because I don't know how you did that, if you did it. Let's see, Jessica.
Yep, we just got it, and we just got enrolled.
I didn't get it.
You didn't get it, Craig?
I did not.
I got it.
Okay.
Maybe it went to my promotions tab. Let me say, yep, I did. It's in my promotions tab. So check your promotions tab.
That's right. Oh, good. Looks like everyone's getting it. Yeah. And again, don't wait to register for the training. That happens every time. And I get emergency phone calls. I've got a client that's perfect for this. How do I go to training? And now your client's waiting on you, which is never a good position as an agent.
Correct. So guys, check your promotions tab. It should be monitored by the company's filters. So if it's in my promotions, it should be in everybody's promotions, I would think. It's not in the inbox. Looking in your promotions tab, just like I said.
I want to add too that we're going to be marketing this at the brokerage level too. So I would get certified, because we're going to be driving leads just like Knox is doing direct to consumer. We're going to be as well in our direct markets. So if you want to get leads from us for this program, make sure you're certified, because we can't give it to you otherwise.
Right. Well, Shelley, that was a very good explanation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I put the email address in the chat in case somebody missed their invitation or you have.
You did. Shelley@knox.com. EY. Very cool. All right. I got a couple more closing points. So I'm going to go back to my agenda real quick and just go through that. But Shelley, great presentation. Guys, take the advantage. You said the class is 1 hour.
Yes, only 1 hour. You can stay for the Q&A after if you want to. I would recommend it if you've got the time, because you hear from across the country asking questions, but totally up to you. But the training part's only 1 hour.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I got a couple closing points, guys, before you leave. So there it is right there, Knock in my promotions tab. So chances are that's where it is for you too. Sales meeting. Very good. Birthdays this week. Jennifer Jordan, only 3 birthdays this week. Something was not very excited 9 months prior. Tomorrow, Jennifer Jordan from Sun City Center, and tomorrow, Julie Powell from Sarasota, along with Janie Mayville from Sarasota on the 25th. So happy birthday to you. Oops, I forgot to pull the leads last night. Oh, well. What was the point I had? Oh, this is it. Q2 is on the way. So Jeff and Mike did a nice class on that yesterday. So I think you would just think about, having your desires. And I said it just for fun. I looked at my dream board for Q1 and I have literally accomplished everything on it. right? What does that mean? It means nothing, except for I had a dream board and I accomplished everything on it. If I didn't have a dream board, what do you think I would have accomplished? Not everything on it. So this is time to start thinking that way. I already read the March article. I just like the Paramount EMD, the earnest money deposit, really good thing. And this is a point I wanted to bring up today. This is my last closing point. Virtual assistants working to get you qualified appointments. I just want you guys to know what some of the things are that are coming down the pike for you. Leadership wise, we made a decision to stop really advertising for buyer leads because we don't need any more buyer leads. We've got more buyer leads than we can handle, as evidenced by 14 or 15 offers on a listing when we get it. So redirecting some of our efforts to help identify listings or cash buyers. So Mike has done some research with a virtual assistant company out of the Philippines that we don't have to manage, but they will make our calls for us and they will follow our systems and put things into our operations, incubate leads for us so we can turn to you warm handoffs, basically. So there's two areas we're focusing on. One is Home Partners of America, because we've been selected as a brokerage partner with them. So we're going to be driving Home Partners leads, which Mike has been able to generate leads. And guys, this is nothing that you can't do for yourselves, right? We can generate a Home Partners lead for about $2.28 a piece, which is incredibly inexpensive for a lead. And then we have to incubate that lead and turn it into somebody who says, yes, I'm qualified, and yes, I want to work with an agent. And then we're going to ping it out to you to take that qualified Home Partners lead. They've already been through the system. They're qualified by Home Partners. They know the rules. They know all the shit. Then we just got to find them a house, but they're a cash buyer with Home Partners. So some of you are going to vet that out with us on the Home Partners team. And then if we get more leads, we just dial up the spend. Or we want less leads, we dial back the spend, one or the other. Second thing is absentee owners. We hired a company to do what we've asked you to do, which is remine and find the absentee owners and then get their address and their email address and their phone numbers, which is incredibly hard to do. But we outsourced it and we found a company to do that for us. And we've identified a couple thousand absentee owners that we're going to hire these virtual assistants to reach out to and see if we can get them to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm qualified. Yes, I'm motivated. Yes, I want to talk to an agent, in which case we're going to send out to one of you. So just little things we're doing to keep things moving, which is just basically implementing what we've been telling you guys to do for a long time, but many of you have not done. So that being said, I'm excited. We're not stopping. We are just going to keep going, and innovate, try new things and adjust to this market. My biggest fear, Shelly says, I'm trying to register on the tell us about your agent information page. The select your markets field is grayed out and listed at Tampa, Florida. I'm part of the BE3 team in Orlando. How do we change that market to Orlando? Shelly, are you still on?
I am, yes. So just go ahead and register under Tampa and then send me an email and I will switch you over to Orlando. It doesn't actually matter except for, we're verifying through the brokerage, but if we don't find you in Tampa, we'll check Orlando. So no worries.
Cool. And it's just Shelly at Knock, knock.com.
That's right.
SHELLEY. Cool. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. We finished 3 minutes over schedule. Shelly, again, great presentation, super neat program. What an innovative way to get mortgages. I like it. Guys, another tool in the bag, right? And we're going to keep making you aware of new opportunities as they come. So thank you. We had a big attendance today. So we had 108 people online. So that's a pretty good audience.
Yeah. Thanks
all right.
so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.